Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back. Now I'm here with the Rampage 3 Extreme from Asus that we've all been waiting for, and I've been working with it for the last couple of days, getting the review ready and everything, and pretty much having a good old play with it and stuff. Now, one of the things I was disappointed with was the clocking. But don't go thinking it's a bad clocker, because I managed to get 4.6 gigahertz out of my 980X with 1.375 volts. But where it's a very early BIOS, literally the first one, I couldn't get anything stable. But there will be later BIOSes. You know, when it actually goes to retail, they would have ironed all the problems out in the BIOSes, and it'll be much better. But sadly, with the sample that I got, where it is so early, it just wasn't stable at very high clocks. But if 4.6 gigahertz is anything to go by with an unstable BIOS, when the BIOS is stable, I'm expecting wonders from it. Now, the Rampage 3 Extreme, there's so many little details on it, which I want to talk through with you. Now, I could go around pointing them out and telling you everything, but do you know what I mean? We'll be there forever with you just looking at a board. And a lot of the regulars have said that they do like the way that I just talk through features and stuff, so I'll try doing it that way, and then I'll show you some pictures at the end. Something which immediately I found quite, first thought I found quite funny was the fact that it's got both 1366 socket mounts, but it's also got 775 socket mounts on there as well, so it will fit a 775 heatsink. And I thought to myself, well, anyone that's buying a board like this is instantly going to be buying a better cooler, so why would you want to use a 775 mount? But then I noticed something up in the top corner here. There's a jumper for LN2 mode. And LN2 mode is you flick it into LN2 mode to help with the cold start or the cold boot problems that you can get with the extreme cooling. And then that was when it sunk in. The reason why it's got 775 mounts is for when extreme overclockers use their big copper pots to pour the liquid nitrogen in or put their dice in. So rather than having to have another specialist mount made or another pot made, you can just use your good old faithful 775 one, and it will actually work with the Rampage 3. So very, very, very good point. Now, the Rampage has got literally all the bells and whistles. It's got SATA 6, and there's 2 ports there thanks to a Marvel controller. It's got USB 3. It's got the same as everybody else has got. It's got the NEC chip on there. Now, although it's got 4 PCI Express lanes, it's still only running on the Intel X58 chipset. There is no backup or extra PCI Express lanes with an NF200 chip. So the lanes are 16 times if you use the first lot, 16 times if you use the first and second. If you go to the third slot and run 3 cards, then you get 16. You get 888. Or is it 16? 888, and then if you run 4 cards, it's 4 8s. But you can vary. So if you wanted to run your card in slot 1 and 3, it will still run at 216, 2 lots of 16. One of the very clever features that the board has got, though, and this goes out, and this is something that all you water coolers need to listen to. How many times have you had or heard of someone with a multi-card setup? So even if it's just normal Crossfire or Tri-Fire, triple SLI, how many times have you known someone with that type of setup, and they've got basically it's all in there and it's all plumbed in, and one of the cards dies and you don't know which one it is? And this may only get used by like 1% of the people that actually buy the board, but it's a very, very good feature for those people that are going to run into problems. The Rampage has got 4 slots up here, and they're basically dip switches, so you literally just turn them on and off. And basically what you can do is switch the PCI Express lane off altogether. So if you have a faulty card, you can go through and switch the lane off, and then if that's the card that's faulty while it's off, your system will boot as normal or run as normal. Now that's amazing for someone with water cooling, because if you've got, say a triple SLI set up and the middle card's gone, you don't want to take the whole system apart, drain all your loop. You can literally, even if you only do it for a couple of weeks, you can literally just flip the lane off and turn it off altogether, and then your problems are gone. Now, yeah, okay, it's only a small thing, but for those people that use it, it's going to be unbelievably helpful. Now it's got some voltage measuring points here at the top, which is also very handy. You can literally choose the part of the motherboard you want to test from, say the CPU, PLL, put the little adapters in, get your multimeter on there and test it exactly on the board. It's got a lot of the usual features that you'd expect, like the go button, very handy things like you can actually change the BIOS settings when you're in Windows with a flick of a button. You can pretty much set a BIOS profile up. Say you have one that boots at 3.6 gigahertz, and then you save another BIOS profile at 4 gigahertz. If you're just about to go into a game or do some benching, you can literally press the button on the board and bam, it will switch into the 4 gigahertz mode, the save profile, and then when you finish you can press it again and go back to normal. Again, for somebody that, there are going to be people that are going to find that mega helpful. And I think it's a great idea as well to give you that, do you know what I mean, it's choice. And I think that's what this board's all about. It's trying to cater for a lot of people and give you plenty of choice. And it's absolutely ram-packed full of features. Like there's a clear CMOS button on the back of the board, so basically round where the I/O ports are and where all the USBs and everything are, there's a clear CMOS switch. Now that's not unusual. There's a clear CMOS switch on the outside, and then there's another one on the inside. So for people that have got the board flat, or maybe their case is all pushed inside and you've got the side off the case, you can literally just get your hand in there and you can do that, and you can flip the switch. Something else I noticed that I really liked is with the Rampage 2 you had two BIOSes, but you never know which one it was on. With the Rampage 3 they've actually got on either side of the BIOS chips there's a little light, so you can tell which BIOS that which BIOS chip's actually running. So if the system freezes and restarts and flicks onto the backup BIOS, you can see in an instant that it's on that. And then there's a button down in this bottom corner that you can actually press to switch the BIOS. Something else I noticed, which I found quite unusual, and it's the first time I've ever seen it on any of the boards, is that the whole motherboard, all of the fan headers are 4-pin, so PWM headers. Now, this might not sound, mega, but a lot of the fans that are being sold nowadays are PWM. But you can still fit your normal 3-pin fans to it anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. But again, it's just another one of those options, and it makes it a lot easier to control the fan speeds within the BIOS. There we go, guys. Wait for the camera to focus. There's the LN2 mode. There's the PCI Express lane switches. This is the Pro belt where you can take all your voltage settings from. Go button. The BIOS switch. There you can see the light for BIOS 1 is on. And you've got the second one there, which is dormant at the moment. If you look through, you can see the 4 PCI Express lanes. The reason why I put the card in the second slot was just so that you could see the ROG logo lit up. And there we go, there's your first look of the built up system. Now I'm gradually running out of time with the board, but I've given you an overview. Now obviously I can't see what stable clocks I can get because of the very early BIOS, but I will be back again later. Asus have contacted the BIOS department for me, and they are trying to rush me through the BIOS that's going to be going out with the retail boards. so I can get down and do some proper clocking. And if I have to, I'm going to go out and get the air conditioner in from the shed and give it a tweak so that I can get some cooler temperatures and try and get this 980X pushed a lot harder. There's the Rampage 3 Extreme for you. For those of you wondering what the hell I've got the board on, keep watching because there will be a review of the bench table later on. Please make sure you check back because there are going to be other videos of the Rampage 3. This isn't the only one, but for now at least, this is Tiny Tom Logan out.